morning, class. Kindly stand up for the prayer to be led by Miss Macapagal. Good morning, everybody. How are you today? That's good. Well, before you take your seats, please make sure that there are no pieces of paper under your chairs. Okay, since I already have your seat plan, those who aren't seated at their proper seats will be automatically marked absent. Is that clear? Alright, so what happened to Mr. Reyes? Is he sick? I see. Thank you for informing me, Miss Barrett. Okay, so before we deal with lesson 10, which is about context clues, let's have a quick recap about our lesson last meeting. What was our lesson last meeting, Miss Ortega? Very good. Now, Miss Fauna, can you give me a brief explanation of what connotations are? Very good. How about you, Miss Fajardo? Kindly stand up. Can you please explain to the class what denotations are? Very good. I can see that you guys really understood our discussion last meeting. This only means that you are ready for another strike of exciting lesson. So, without further ado, let's get started. Our lesson for today is about context clue. But before that, let us have a quick activity which I call Hint It. I have here 5 words. Now, I want you to determine what these words mean. Alright. Kinda. You're almost there, Sheena. Well, I believe that you really have a hard time in guessing the meaning of these words. The reason is that there is not enough information about the word to define it. What if I add text onto these words? For example, oath. You must try to fulfill your oath because it is a solemn promise. Very good, Natalia. Oath means promise because the context clue there is solemn promise, which means that it is an oath. Next, we have valid. This is a valid statement. I have no doubt that it is true. The context clue there is true, which connotes that that was a true statement or a valid statement, which therefore draws upon the idea of a context clue. Now for number 3, exodus. There was a general exodus from the room and the alarm sounded. Every student left. Very good, Shane. Exodus means to leave or left in the sentence. Lastly, next we have the room is free from noise. It is conducive to study. What do we mean by free from noise? That means conducive. Somewhere we can study. Okay, number 5. She is an extrovert. She is a very sociable person. When we say extrovert, it is an unfamiliar word for all of us, but in simple terms, that means that sociable or something like outspoken and cordial. So if I may ask, in the absence of a dictionary, how can you still understand words that are foreign to you? So, even though the unknown word has no definition, we can always infer its meaning from the added information in the phrase, sentence, or even paragraphs. Therefore, learning how to get a word's meaning by looking at its context is very important. As a reader, we are like detectives who follow clues which leads to the culprit or the meaning of words, to be exact. Now, what do we mean by context clues? Context clues are hints that an author gives to help define a difficult or unusual word within a book. So, learning the meaning of a word through its use in a sentence or a paragraph is the most practical way to build vocabulary. since a dictionary is not always available when a reader encounters an unknown word. So there are at least 4 kinds of context clues that are quite common. First, we have the synonym. An author will use more than one word that means the same thing. For example, there may be a complex word followed by a restatement using a simpler word in the same or following sentence. For example, Felipe is a Mr. So the unknown word there is Mr. The next sentence would be, he's always been Chip. So Mr. there and Chip are both the same thing. It's just that Chip is a simpler word that becomes the restatement of the unknown word Mr. Next, we have the antonym or contrast context clues. The text may include a word or words that have the opposite meaning, which can reveal the meaning of an unknown term. For example, Stella has always dressed flamboyantly. So do you know the meaning of flamboyantly? Okay, so the next sentence would be, I've never seen her wear a dull color. So the context clue there is the dull. What's the opposite of dull? It's flamboyant. Okay, so next we have the explanation or a definition context clue. An unknown word is explained within the sentence or in the sentence immediately after. For example, on Friday, we visited the Arboretum, a garden dedicated to the exhibition of trees and plants. So Arboretum here is explained in the following words that it is a garden dedicated to exhibition of trees and plants. That's how you identify an explanation context clue. Now for the last type of context clue, which is the specific example or an example context clue, the text provides one or more examples used to define the term. For example, the children were able to observe several crustaceans. So do you know crustaceans? So for example, it includes crabs, lobsters, and shrimps. Now crabs, lobsters, and shrimps in the sentence is an example of crustaceans. Therefore, those are your context clues. So are you guys learning so far? That's good to hear. Now I want you to count from 1 to 4. Start, Miss Luxine. Alright, you stay with your group mates. Group 1, you stay here. Group 2 here. Group 3 and 4 at the back. Now, I call this activity Santa Clues. I have here a box. Which contain the 4 types of context clues. I want you to select your group leader who will pick one paper from this box. But remember, further instructions will be made after the group leaders have picked their assigned type already. Okay, so come here. Group leaders, all together, pick. Alright, go back to your groups now. Group 1, what type of context clue did you get? Explanation. For group 2, antonym. For group 3, alright, synonym. And for group 4, specific example. There you have it. I want you to compose a sentence using an unfamiliar word along with the type of context clue you have been assigned. Got it? Nice. I am giving you 3 minutes to do your thing. Write it on a piece of paper. You may start. All done? Group leaders, I need you to select someone who will report what you have composed in front and explain what type of context clue did you use and what made it a context clue. Group 1, we know the dog has a kind disposition because we've never seen her bite or scratch anyone. So if I may ask, what type of context clue were you assigned? Oh, explanation. I can see that it's obvious in your sentence that you are actually explaining what that kind disposition mean, that you've never seen that dog bite or scratch anyone. Good job! Now for group 2. Marty is gregarious and like his brother who is quite shy. Group 2, what type of context clue were you assigned? Antonym. So what's the context clue here? His brother who is quiet and shy? Very good. Now for your sentence, it is quite very obvious that gregarious here is the opposite of someone who is quiet and shy. So maybe it means someone who is very outspoken and loud, very extrovert. Now for group 3, the unknown word here is remorse. So do you know what remorse is? Of course, because it was repeated or stated in the sentence with a simpler word which is shame. So remorse and shame is the same. Now for group 4, celestial bodies including the sun, moon, and stars have fascinated man through the centuries. Now for group 4, what type of context clue were you assigned? Oh, specific example. So for celestial bodies, that is your unknown word. Now you have provided examples of celestial bodies which is the sun, the moon, and the stars, which simply boils down to the fact that it is a specific example context clue. Your context clue here is the example that you have provided, since this is a specific example context clue. Very good. So you did it well, class. Please go back to your proper seats. Alright, why are context clues important? First, you do not have to check the dictionary for every word you do not know. Second, context clues indicate which of the possible meanings of a word is intended by the writer or the speaker. Next, very often you can get its meaning from clues in sentences where the word is found. You call these hints context clues. Now, so again, what are context clues? Hints? Very good. So what are the 4 types of context clues? Perfect. Now, how would you identify a context clue? Very good. Okay, so Myla, what do you use when you encounter an unfamiliar word? Context clue? Are you sure? Very good. Sheena, this is a context clue wherein an author will use more than one word that means the same thing. Take note, the same thing. What is it? Oh, synonym. Very good. Now, Jill, this is a context clue which gives examples to define the unknown word. Oh, specific example context clue. Very good. Robbie, these are hints found in sentences. Very good. Now you nailed it, guys. Before we formally end our class, I have here 10 sentences. Infer the meaning of the unfamiliar words using the context clues. Raise your hands whenever you want to speak because points will be given since this is a graded recitation. Let's do this very quickly, okay? Number 1. The results of the investigation is unpredictable. No one knows what the results will be. Natalia, what does unpredictable here mean in the sentence? It is not easily predictable? Well, yes. It's very obvious. Now for number 2. There will be a smooth flow of vehicles when the new bridge is completed. Traffic will no longer be a problem. Gustavo, what does traffic here mean? There is a heavy flow of vehicles, which is the opposite of what? The smooth flow of vehicles. That's good. Now for number 3, she did not like to meet people. She is an introvert. Natalia, what do we mean by introvert? Okay, someone who wants to be alone. Can be. Okay? So she did not like to meet people, meaning she wants to be alone. She doesn't want any company. Okay, so number 4. The team planned the robbery. It was certainly premeditated. Yes, Francine. Premeditated here means plan. Very good. Number 5. The infirm old man was confined in bed and looked after by a nurse. Confined here means, okay, to look after someone who is confined in hospital, for example. Alright, very good. Number 6. Piscatorial creatures such as flounder, salmon, and trout live in the coldest parts of the oceans. What are these piscatorial creatures? Oh, very good. These are flounder, salmon, and trout. Number 7. His animosity or hatred of his sister divided the family. What does animosity mean here? Very good, hatred, Jillian. Number 8. She was a virtuous, unlike her evil and conniving brother. So what does virtuous mean here? Yes, Mishka? Someone is very religious. Yes, can be. And here in the sentence, it was given an opposite of what that word means. Okay. Number 9. The baseball coach punished the team's duplicity or deceitfulness after they admitted to using steroids to boost their batting averages. So what does duplicity means here, Kyle? Oh, deceitfulness. Very good. Number 10. She hums continuously or all the time and it annoys me. Now, what do you mean by continuously, Richard? Very good. All the time. So I'm glad you are now adept with context clues. I'm sure that you can use this technique sooner or later, especially when taking board exams wherein we do not have the luxury of using a dictionary. For your assignment, kindly write this on your notebook. Write 5 sentences with context clues and classify each according to type. Write it in 1/2 sheet of paper. Is that clear? Okay, so thank you for your time and attention. We'll see each other next meeting. Class dismissed.